Welcome in episode 46 live, Ramie and Drew. It is what is it, Drew? Is it Sunday, April 21st. I am Ramie Mackloff. That is Drew Flaggy. We are coming to you shortly after, not immediately after. I don't know if you can even call this post game or just late night pod. Whatever it is, we're reacting to a Bucks victory over the Pacers to take a 1-0 series lead. Drew, wings were eaten, beers were had. We watched a Bucks victory. It was a good night. We gathered with friends. Everyone was merry. It was fun. It was a fun evening for Bucks fans.
Yeah, we got the Dame game that we finally really wanted. That was nice.
That felt good.
I was told that I owe an apology to people because I didn't believe that Dame was gonna just turn this on like this.
And
same people that said that, they're like, the Giannis needs to take a back seat, that kind of shit. Those are the people telling me that I need to apologize because we didn't need Giannis. And we're still going to say, I'm sorry. No, because we talked about this. Saying that Giannis makes his team worse is absurd. It is. No, we're just not doing
it. It is. Okay. No, you're right. You're right. But okay. I'm not even saying I believe this, but just a thought that passed my mind. Just a thought that crossed my mind watching the game tonight. We've watched Dame all season at times and for long stretches sort of take a back seat. You know what I mean? They're not winning a championship without Giannis. Was it maybe a bit of a blessing in disguise that Dame had to come out tonight and be that dude to start off the playoffs because Giannis wasn't there? And maybe that lights a fire. Maybe that sparks a fire that goes on through the playoffs. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say.
Well, your picture's gone.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened. It said your browser has lost connection to your camera. I'll work on it. You just keep talking. We don't need to see
me. So, I don't know. Like, we all know that Damian Lillard was capable of doing what he did tonight. I didn't know that he was going to do it all in a half because what did he score in the second half? Like 4 points? But like then Chris stepped up and Middleton was just efficient as hell. But this was like just Lillard being efficient and effective to the point where Portland had to, or not Portland, the Pacers. I was saying this was Portland Dame all night. Like I was like, this is finally, that's why Portland's on my brain. No, it was just like they had to pick up Dame at like 95 feet. Like they just couldn't let him do anything with the ball.
Dude, they were double teaming him at 95 feet.
It was crazy. Like, finally, like and now it's like, if Dame is this aggressive when Giannis comes back, like, I'm not saying he's got to come back next game or game 3 or something like that. But even hell, like, if you look forward to like the next round, if Giannis is back, we still need Dame to be this aggressive to maximize both of them.
Yep.
And then, of course, then Middleton goes back to being the third option on offense, and he was terrific tonight. And the big thing with the Bucks, though, is they controlled the ball the entire game, and there were no stupid turnovers. They didn't turn the ball over in ways that they let the Pacers get out and run on them, because there was nobody on the Bucks roster that can catch up to maybe Andre Jackson, but he's not going to play that many minutes in these games. So, like, there's nobody that you can let Tyrese Halliburton or any of those guys get out and run on you on. So the Bucks they played a good ball control game. And what they kind of did was they played a Miami Heat style of basketball where they made the other team play in the half court and just dragged them into hell and then just sank all their efficient shots that they had.
And then
it was great.
And then we're giving them the 3-point shot for much of the night, Drew. And we talked about this at the establishment where we were eating beers and eating wings and having beers. That, I think that's a strategy, and it's one that's bitten them in the past. The Celtics series comes to mind in 2022, where you sort of gave them the 3-pointer. I don't know why I keep losing my camera, but I'll keep working on it and just keep talking while I work on it. The Celtics series in 2022, where you give them the 3-pointer, and it could come back to bite you. It could come back to kill you. There's no doubt about that. But they're not the greatest 3-point shooting team, and I think that's a sound strategy. They got hot, you know what I mean, in the third quarter and a little bit into the fourth, but I kind of knew they were going to cool off at some point, and they did. And you were able to pull away. I didn't think that they were going to be able to stay hot long enough to erase, what was it, a 31-point lead at one point at its largest lead. I'm okay with doing that all series long.
Also with the Celtics, though, they were a better 3-point shooting team, even in that series talking about, than what Indiana is right now.
But it was Grant Williams, man.
Yeah. Indiana gave up a lot of 3-point shooting off the bench when they got rid of Buddy Hield. I still don't understand that trade. Siakam, like he was ruled at it was a spicy bet for him on Underdog and Prize Picks to hit a 3-pointer. They don't have guys on that team that are going to really go out there and hit threes. Outside of Halliburton. And Halliburton, what did he have? What did that skipping little moron do tonight? What did he have, 9 points?
Let me check.
Coming in a playoff game.
That skipping little moron did.
Was it
Tyrese Halliburton? Man, he was non-existent tonight. Terrible. He was 4 of 7 from the field for 9 points in 38 minutes. Did have 8 assists and 7 rebounds.
I said it. Dame took his soul at All-Star Weekend, beating him in the 3-point contest, knocking him out of that, and then taking the All-Star MVP from him. Dude, Halliburton hasn't been the same guy. They say it's his hamstring. I think it's his soul, dude. I think it's been snatched. And
he got soul snatched. Motion says Tyrese Halliburton is not the same player he was earlier this year. If he keeps playing like this, it's a sweep without Giannis. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. Tyrese Halliburton was getting and the buzz as one of the next superstar in this league, like a face of the league type of guy when, the Pacers were top of the world earlier this season. If he's not that and not taking the steps towards being that, that's not that great of a team, man. That's really not that great of a basketball team if Tyrese Halliburton isn't playing like that dude.
Jokes aside, he's a really good player.
He is.
But very young. And what it was, this game reeked of exactly what was going to happen to them. And they had all this swag and everything coming out of the in-season tournament. They beat the big bad Bucks in the in-season tournament for the first one ever to go to the finals against the Lakers, who hung a banner because they won a fucking tournament. And some boys and girls club in Akron, Ohio got a grant or something out of it. I don't know. And they all got to look at LeBron's shoes. Ooh, they all got that. It was a meaningless tournament, and it's a fun thing. It makes basketball competitive early in the season, but that's why I keep saying Halliburton was skipping around on our home floor, and he was doing the Dame thing.
I remember doing the Dame thing,
and,
yeah.
Dame said in that post game that it's just stay humble because you never know when this is going to turn. It's going to turn now because something as simple as Pat Beverly being under their skin from the jump. The Bucks jumped out on a lead, and Pat Bev was annoying Halliburton. And none of those guys responded well on the Pacers. That was the little brothers who finally got punched back, and they didn't like it. And
they had nothing.
Have a guy like Pascal Siakam, who's an NBA champion on your team. I don't think Siakam can rein in every one of these guys who's never been there before.
No, and you got to
NBA Finals.
You got to take some lumps. The Bucks took some lumps before they were able to make deep playoff runs. And if this is a Pacers team that's gonna make some noise in the future, this is the time where they take those lumps. This is a time, Drew, where they get the belt to ass, to borrow a Pat Bev pod-ism.
Dude, the fact that Roan was in the stands with a belt in his hands.
That's why I brought it up.
Funny, dude.
That's why I brought it up. It could be a dangerous thing if a lot of people are doing that, but I kind of wish that would become a thing where everybody takes the belt out of takes their belt out when the Bucks are winning. When you slap the belt in your hand to make that intimidating noise. What if you had a whole? It's kind of scary and a little bit. It has other connotations which we don't need to talk about, but that's a super intimidating image.
That's crazy. It's so funny that it's a thing right now, but it's even funny that, colleges were chanting belt to ass in the NCAA tournament. really funny. Like,
it really is. And yeah, the fact that he had the belt out in the second quarter is amazing.
yeah,
That's great. Yeah.
no,
Big
that
fit.
was just that was a great game. Like that I don't think there's anything that I was happy with everything the Bucks did tonight. I mean, I joked in our group chat about what the keys to winning the game were in 1 through 6 were don't be stupid.
Yeah.
And the Bucks didn't be stupid the whole game. Like they were really there was like maybe 1 point and everything that you're like, oh, this is like might be perfect. There's always one thing that maybe wasn't that perfect.
I'll
And there
give
was
you I'll give you one thing that raised an eyebrow for me in a negative way in this game. And it was the thing that kept
scoring
the
drought,
Pacers. Say that again.
scoring drought late in the game.
No, that's going to happen. You're going to get cold. They were insanely hot, and the law of averages and everything. You know, they were going to get cold, and the Pacers were going to get hot, and it was going to swing back the other way. I never thought that the Pacers would be able to erase the entire 31-point lead or whatever it was. But the one it did rear its ugly head during that stretch, and it was a problem early in the game before the Bucks started to put belt to ass. Is too many second and third chances for the Pacers. Too many offensive rebounds. If we're looking for one negative, and I watching it, I was going, it feels like they're really giving them way too many second and third chance opportunities. And I just pulled it up in the box score. They had 14 offensive rebounds. 14 offensive rebounds to 5 for the Bucks. More nights than not, a game is not as much of a blowout as this one was when you give a team that many second and third chance opportunities.
So what did since you're looking at that, what did the Bucks shoot from the floor tonight? I'm just curious.
41 of 87, 47% from the field,
Okay.
37.8% from three.
So you're not going to have a lot of offensive rebounds. And I know what kind of the sequence you're talking about. There were like 3 shots that got missed. Like I think TJ McConnell took 2 threes on like the same possession. And like that whole sequence, like the ball just broke bad for the Bucks. Like it was, iron, the ball came off hot. It was just at a weird angle where nobody was able to get a rebound for it. I thought the Bucks were pretty active on the boards and pretty decent about securing rebounds and stuff. Like everybody that went up for a rebound, it wasn't like that Orlando game where Jay Crowder was flat-footed waiting for the ball to fall in his hands. Like there weren't a lot of balls that hit the ground off of a rebound. Like Pat Bev got a rebound that hit the ground in front of him, and it's because it just went off the iron weird. Other than that, no, I know offensive rebounding. If you want to nitpick, I didn't have a problem with the way the Bucks rebounded tonight.
It was annoying me. It was annoying me at multiple parts in the game. It was annoying me, and I think against better teams, you let that happen, and it'll cost you. Those are extra possessions, turnovers, and giving them second and third opportunities. Those are extra possessions that you can't give those up in the playoffs. Against this team, maybe you can. Against better teams, you do that, and it'll bite you in the ass.
No, against the Knicks, you definitely can't do that, and I guess against the Sixers and Boston, you can't do that. But also the other big thing too about the rebounding side of it, no Giannis.
True.
That's essentially 14 rebounds that you just.
No, you're right about that. You can't dismiss that. That's for sure.
And the way that they shuffled, a big thing. I don't want to crap on any players on our team too much here, but like Doc's rotations were so good that we didn't need to see Gallinari minutes. That was probably pretty good.
We did have to see Pat minutes, dude. Some of the Pat highlight reel tonight was you could put Benny Hill music over. He got stuffed on by the glass on one shot. Pat Bev had a rough run of it tonight.
No, you're talking about Pat Connaughton.
Oh, Pat Connaughton. I'm sorry, Pat Connaughton. I got my Pats mixed up. No, Pat Bev was fine. No, I was talking about Pat Connaughton.
Yeah. Pat Bev had 5 points. He had like 7 rebounds and 8 or something assists or something. Great tonight.
Talking about White Pat.
Yeah. Pat Connaughton, rough night. He had that feed under the basket that was so funny. Like for everybody listening, one of our friends at the bar was like, he's in so much pain that Pat Connaughton is just not playing that well, and he's really upset because he just really likes the white guy on our team. And
he said he used to be his favorite Buck.
Yeah, and
Pat Connaughton was his favorite Buck.
But Brandon looked down for a minute to pay his tab, and Pat Connaughton dropped that ball underneath the basket. That was like a perfect feed right into his chest. And I started nudging him, and I'm like, hey, Pat Connaughton just coughed the ball up again.
Motion points out he did have that 4-point play. He did. He totally redeemed himself.
And so did Dame, though. Dame had that 4-point play. That was sick.
He also had a 4-point play. But going back to Motion's original comment about sweeping them without Giannis, I'm not a doctor or anything, Drew. I know that would shock many. I don't have a medical degree, but I would think that rest is probably a good thing, maybe the best thing for Giannis's injury right now. And I would think once you go up 2 games, maybe every win after that buys you another game you don't have to bring back Giannis.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm up 2-0, I'll go into game 3 without Giannis. If I'm up 3-0, I'll go into game 4. And if we lose that, I'll go into game 5 up 3-1 without Giannis. Like the more you can win without him, I think it extends the timetable of how long you can wait to bring him back and get him that much more healthy before you have to bring him back.
I said the quicker you put this away, the quicker everybody can just get healthy again. That's like, it's got to be one game at a time. You don't want to start, counting your chickens before they have, like, and I'm not saying that Damian Lillard's got to come out the next game and have a 35-point half, because that was insane to watch. Like that was
bonkers. Yeah.
That I could have cried. I was like, oh my God, it finally, the Damian Lillard finally showed up. Like, thank you. After 82 games, you're here. Thank you.
That was cathartic for everybody. I think that was cathartic for Dame. I think it was cathartic for Bucks fans. I think it was, that's what when at the start of the show, and if you're just tuning in, thank you. Please follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Go back and watch the earlier part of the show where we talked about this thing we're about to talk about now. But when I said, like, no, they're not better without Giannis. No, they're not going to win a championship without Giannis. But assuming he eventually comes back, is it maybe in a way a blessing in disguise that you had to tell Dame to go out there and be the man for this one night and however long it is that you're going to be without Giannis, just to remind him of what he can do? Because even with Giannis, you're going to need dominant Dame games to get through the best teams in the East, and if you're going to win a title.
I'm honestly not, like, if Giannis even comes back, like, sooner than what we would think, like, especially if we get into the next round, the big thing is, like, if Dame plays this way consistently, I'm not saying he's got to put up 40. I'm not saying he's got to put up 35. But, like, if he's at least a threat that everyone has to account for, Giannis is going to get easier buckets, and he already dominates the paint. So it's like, maybe we just mitigate Giannis having to play downhill all the time, and we don't need to have transition Giannis. And he can it's kind of a double-edged sword where it's like, you don't want him to be too stationary and then, coming off the blocks as hot as he can. And then, something happens to that calf again or something. But, like, best case scenario is we go up a little bit and Giannis can take a rest again. Like, and get treatment on that leg or something. Like, it's like the better everybody plays, the less we have to lean on our best player. Because Giannis still is the best player on this team.
Oh,
he's the most,
no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I mean, I'll even say this, because, like, I think when people talk about who's the best player on the team, Dame has the overall package. He can do it all. He can finish. He can shoot mid-range. He's great at free throws, and he's a deep threat. Giannis is just the most dominant player on the team and the most efficient. That's where I lean on him still being the best player. And also, I think he is a better playmaker, but also that comes with being 7 feet tall.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that Dame is going to have to be your number one guy throughout the playoffs. But you will need nights where you need a dominant performance from Dame and Giannis to get a win. You know what I mean? We've seen it. They weren't able to win the championship without Giannis having huge nights, Chris Middleton having huge nights, Drew Holiday doing his thing. Like you're going to need that. And there have been times throughout this season where Dame has just been a little bit too passive, a little bit too deferential in passing to Giannis and other guys for what he thought were more open shots. And we've been calling for him, and you're going to need him to be that dude on some nights to get this thing done.
And like you said, you mentioned Chris Middleton, and he's just a calming force in that
Yeah, he
line.
really is.
Everyone always says it. And I mean, Chris Middleton was so good tonight again, just inside the arc. He only I think he only took like 2 3-pointers or something like that, 2 or 3 3-pointers, but everything was inside the arc, and he was just, dude, it was
one of 4. He was 1 of 4 from 3, 9 of 14 from the field for 23 points.
They just couldn't stop him inside the arc. He was just fantastic again. So it's like, I wish Bucks fans didn't have to pit all of our players against each other. Like, who is your favorite player? You know, like that, where it's like Middleton.
Yeah, it's real dumb.
Middleton's the best player on this team. Oh, we need Middleton. Or you get the people, the Middleton sucks people. Or you get but Giannis is better than Dame, or Dame is better than Giannis. Like, dude, who cares? Like, you have a lot of really good players on this team. Like, I don't give a shit if Pat Bev goes off for 50 points.
For real.
Now, selfishly, would I love for Damian Lillard to be the finals MVP when we hoist that trophy? Yeah, because that would be sick, because he's my favorite player. But
I thought you were going to say selfishly, do I want Brook Lopez to hit the over on 27 points, rebounds, and assists, or whatever the fuck it was?
They never said that high. They would never.
I don't know, dude. I don't gamble. Okay, I don't know, Drew. That's not my thing. Daily fantasy, whatever. But I thought that's where you were going with it.
But also, for Brewers fans, William Contreras is a pretty good bet for total bases every game. So you might start looking into William Contreras.
Good to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into baseball now.
Good. It's good to know.
But yeah, this was just a good all-around game. Like, Brook Lopez had the blocks. Everyone, Brooks Lopez, he can't defend. Well, he did tonight.
Yeah, he was swatting their shit
against Miles Turner, who I don't think Miles Turner walked off with a game ball tonight. It was
a real good night, man. I think, like I said before, it was cathartic in the way that they won. That like that Bucks fans just sit back and sort of enjoy it. That the team didn't really have to stress at any point. Like I said, the implications for what this could mean as far as nursing Giannis's eventual return and getting him as healthy as possible. Like this thing, and I know some folks, you could feel it in the bar that we were at. We're stressing a little bit when Indiana was starting to mount that comeback, and they got it down to what I think it was like 12 at some point was what they got it down to. But for the most part, you were able to watch this game with very little stress. And I think that the Bucks as a team were able to watch this game with very little stress. And it makes you feel, because there was a lot of panic, man. And there was a lot of talk and chatter around this team. And we heard them admit earlier in the season that they hear that stuff. You know what I mean? And that it does affect them, whether or not you think that it should. So I think it's good to just get this one in and get it in the fashion that they did.
Yeah, definitely. Also, with all the chatter and where's Dame gonna play? Is he gonna ask out? I don't know if anybody was watching that one, Stephen A. Smith or Kendrick Perkins or Malika Andrews or Brian Windhorst. I don't know if any of you were watching that game. I don't know if you were watching this podcast because you suck. But like, the whole thing is, Dame looked pretty goddamn content being here. Hell, I would say he looked pretty happy going into halftime.
Yeah, did you see when he hit that the was it at halftime or the end of the first quarter where he hit the 3-pointer? First quarter. And he turned around and he almost looks into the camera and he says, "This is why you brought me here."
Yeah.
He knows the assignment, dude. He knows the assignment. He knows why it's here. And I think he's totally fine with the crew that he gets to go out and try to complete the assignment with.
It was so much fun watching him just be a man possessed in that first half tonight.
It was awesome. It was really awesome. Good. It gave me goosebumps. I
don't smoke like the rest of you, but I even told some of our friends, I'm like, I need a cigarette after that. That felt nice. Like, that was
good. I did go out and light one up after that first half. You had to.
But like, I was like, I don't smoke, but I was like, oof. Like, if any time's a time to start, that was.
I could bum you one if you ever want to start. Mega Death Knight says Dame Dollar make you holla.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to that, I guess. I think you said it all. That was very efficient.
Yeah. I do too. Actually, I really don't have much to add in general, Drew, unless you had anything else to add. Any last words on this big Bucks win today? Anything you want to get in about the Brewers? I see that jersey back there that I asked you to get me one that you did not get me one of those.
Harry's
Even
got
though
one for sale on eBay.
on eBay.
Yeah. So I'll tell you
Okay,
right
I have to
now.
go through one of my best friend's eBay account to get a jersey that I had asked,
Yeah.
but that's
So
cool.
they're screen printed and they're made basically like shit.
I
I'm
don't
pretty
care.
dude. I'm telling you, this one's an extra large and it's not that big.
You know what, dude? I have had, and it didn't dawn on me until after I ate dinner and I was driving home from the bar that we were at tonight. I had fried chicken in dinner last night. I had fried chicken, well, as breakfast today, and then I had leftovers from that for lunch, and then I had chicken wings at dinner. This shirt usually fits me a lot more comfortably than it's fitting me right now, Drew. And I need like a 4-day cleanse. My girlfriend
Today
had
was
some friends in town. We were trying to show them Wisconsin. And what do you do in Wisconsin, Drew? Fucking
taking
eat.
Vanguard.
That's what we didn't take them to Vanguard because her parents were in town last weekend, and we took them to Vanguard. We were like, it's too much. So we took them a couple different spots that we don't need to give them the free plugs. But oh my god, dude,
Well,
I
I'm
I
down
need to go lay down.
since going back to the gym. I'm down 15 pounds.
Good, good.
Just been running, dude. Straight cardio, playing basketball, giving the buckets,
Yeah,
fucking missing shots. I'm out
I got
there.
to get back to the workout. I keep it well as tight as I can keep it, and I'm usually in the same weight range. I fluctuate maybe 5 pounds, but this weekend I have to have put on like 10, 12 pounds just this
I get
weekend
out.
alone.
This was definitely a cheat day. I thought about after work going to the gym. I was like, I'll sneak it in a little bit. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna end up drinking beer and shit. I'll just drink a lot of water this week and figure it out.
I'm sitting
So,
next to a wide open window, and it's like 50 degrees out, and I'm sweating like I'm glazed like a ham. I,
dude, that you got
I need
but
I need I need
that's
to go lay down.
I mean, I was sweating a little bit. Like the bar was pretty hot. I will
Yeah,
say that
yeah.
so the bandana's glued to my head right now. The playoff
All right.
bandana off, but
Well, I'm gonna go lay down and fart a lot, and we'll reconvene tomorrow. Let's try
yeah,
and put something together tomorrow and talk about the upcoming game 2 between the
well, let's see.
Bucks and the Pacers.
Brewers swept the Cardinals. That's always
Fuck
funny.
yeah, fuck the Cardinals, dude. Fuck the
Even as
Cardinals forever.
yeah, even as you being a Cubs fan, it's pretty easy to admit that it's funny when the Cardinals lose.
Yeah,
So
nothing in sports makes me happier than the Cardinals losing and being bad. Literally, well, I shouldn't
I
say
was
nothing.
I
My
will
other than my team's winning, nothing brings me more joy than the Cardinals losing.
I was very prepared for the greatest thing to happen in Wisconsin sports today to be Blake Perkins stealing that 3-run homer. I was very prepared for that to be the highlight of my day and just be like, well, we'll get him tomorrow. But now I'm like, dude, it
Yeah,
was
because you
that
doubted Dame. Because you doubted Dame. And before we go,
Lillard jersey.
do you want to say you're sorry?
Not to the people that I made arguments for why I was disappointed and what
All
happened.
right. Okay. Fine.
I,
Be stubborn, Drew.
am I not? Was I not wearing my Dame Lillard jersey? Am I not still wearing my Dame Lillard jersey?
You are. You are still wearing that.
I wear the Dame Lillard, dude. The only times I haven't worn this jersey this season were the games that he was listed as out. I've worn my Giannis jerseys less, and I got one.
For those who were wondering what forms I had fried chicken in, last night I had buffalo mac and cheese. I'll just say it. It was at the 3rd Street Market Hall. And then today went to Cafe Central here in Bayview, and I got the chicken and sweet frites. It's like chicken and gravy and a bunch of vegetables and eggs over sweet potato waffle fries. So I had that for breakfast and lunch, and then chicken wings at the bar that we were at tonight. So
why would you just not plug Stenny's?
Stenny's. We had chicken wings at Stenny's.
Everyone goes to Stenny's anyways. There's probably like people that there that are probably watching this right now.
That's probably true. Yeah. Shout out Stennies if you're there right now watching the Ramie and Drew podcast.
Dude, I swear to God, it's not like this might actually hurt Stennies. Like, we're not. There's no way that anybody that listens to this was like, "Oh, what's Stennies, dude?" If you found this podcast somehow, you've been to Stennies and you know they're jerk wings. There's no endorsement we can give that people aren't already like, yeah, so like.
Yeah, and Megadeth Knight says buffalo chicken nachos for the win. The breakfast thing was kind of nachos, but it was over sweet potato waffle fries. Okay. It was pretty good.
The other night,
recommend.
Speaking of food, I had a debate about the best sub you can build at Subway. So that's where my life has gotten when it's not talking about sports. And then it turned into like one of my dad's friends being like, you know what my daughter gets? And he told me his daughter's order at Subway, like it was going to be better than mine.
What is your, okay, well, since you brought it up, what's your favorite, what's the best sub at Subway?
I do a foot long. I like to do the steak with a Monterey Jack cheese on top of it. And then you put peppers and onions on that toasted. And then you throw jalapenos in the Southwest Chipotle Baja, whatever that mayo is.
Yeah. Chipotle ranch. Yeah.
That's pretty solid. Now I know that steak isn't real steak. I don't know what
that's
the hell.
Not steak. Yeah.
I don't care what it is. No. It's some kind of shaved meat of some sort.
I'm either going turkey or an Italian. I don't need to get into all the toppings. That's too much detail for people. I'm going to turkey and Italian, or sometimes I'll get a chicken something or other. You know what I mean? Like one of the chicken, like a chicken bacon ranch melt thing that they fucking got there from time to time, you know?
I used to go with the spicy Italian. That was always a good one. Spicy
Italian is solid. Spicy Italian is solid.
It's pretty solid. I like that one. Always toasted. Everything at Subway toasted.
Not a turkey or an Italian. I don't get an Italian toasted. You don't toast an Italian.
Have you ever had somebody in front of you order a pizza and you just look at them like they're an animal? Because I do that.
Yeah, you don't get pizza at Subway.
And then you watch them build that and you're like, that's not even, come on.
Yeah, fuck you. What do you get pizza at Subway for?
Word, if it was like some kind of like focaccia bread, I would really humor that, but I don't accept this. It was being like, oh yeah, I went to Subway to get a pizza and a salad. It's like, no, you just got a bunch of toppings.
Q is asking if we got a link tonight or nah for him to join the show. Do you want me to put a link out and we'll just kill time until Q joins us? All right.
Q probably wants to talk about Subway.
About Subway. I mean, chances are that's what he wants to. That's what I would guess, at least.
Like the second worst sub place that you can go to.
Wait, what's first worst? What is the worst then?
Oh, fucking Suburbia is pretty bad.
I've never been. I thought you were going to say Quiznos. I thought you were going to say Quiznos like, for sure.
Quiznos exists in our friend Brandon's act. That's the only place Quiznos is anymore. That in airports. Quiznos is terrible.
That's how bad they are. You can't even find them anymore.
Dude, I'm going to still say Jersey Mike's is number one for me. I love Jersey Mike's. I know that's like Wisconsin blasphemy to not say Cousins, but Cousins is a close too.
Whoa, this is awesome. Says Cousins is trash. I got to disagree, man. I have to seriously disagree with you there. This is awesome.
I don't know, man. Like Cousins is pretty good. Like I did start to dislike Cousins a lot when they were running that commercial where those two people who were just friends were there comparing the food that they got. That was I did that. We're like, oh, but like I love the cheese curds, and the guy's like, I love the milkshake. It's like, stop! Like all of you just stop. What the fucking it's like also like both of you being really bitchy towards each other, being like, but I got marinara with my stop. You know, every time I've eaten at Cousin Subs, I've eaten in store at a Cousin Subs, I've never looked the person I'm eating directly across the table with in the eye, because we're both ashamed of the fact that we're eating in a restaurant.
I have no shame about eating in a Cousins, in a Subway, whatever. There's the link. It should be
girlfriend sit on the same.
Yeah, there it is in the comments right there. If anybody wants to get in, there's the link to get in. on the show, Q or anybody else. Man, this is awesome podcast. Who's using us for promotion? Because other than Radio Joe Cheese Curds, Cousins is trash. Says anything associated with the unit is trash, and says Jimmy John's is elite. Let's get serious. They are freaky fast and freaky good. They
Jimmy
do have
John's
that going for them.
Fantastic. Also, like I put Jimmy John's just underneath Cousins, but I could be swayed for some of them, especially if they have like that one Italian sandwich.
But you know what? I really think, I don't know about you, Drew, I can make a better sandwich than any of the sandwich chain shops. Like maybe not some little, I don't know, mom and pop. They're probably doing it better, fresh baked bread and all that bullshit. But I think if we're talking about one of the chains, I think I make a damn good sandwich, man. I'll make my own mayo. I'll make a little like a little aioli with some mayo, a little avocado. You know what I mean? Like I'll get creative. And make a fucking killer sandwich right here at home, and it's going to be much cheaper than I would get at a Subway or whatever. No offense if anybody wants to sponsor us.
Is it going to be much cheaper? Because when I make chili, it's like $70 for a pot of chili.
What the fuck are you doing?
Well, I buy like 3 pounds of meat, so that's like $25 right now.
How much chili are you making, dude?
You've seen me make chili. Like a pot.
I can't believe I tried to wrap this show up 15 minutes ago, and the only reason we're still here is because we've been talking about sandwiches. And here's the guy who asked. Here's the guy who asked if we could drop a link to get in on the show. It's Q. What's up, Q? What's the best sandwich at Subway?
I was, when they were doing like the celebrity subs, I was getting the Steph Curry. I don't even know what was on it anymore, but it was pretty good.
I gotta check that out.
Oh, I was gonna say also like when Cousins does when they do like Pork Fest, which is disgusting sounding in itself, but like they do a Cuban, which is really good.
I just want how big is your pot of chili that has 3 pounds of beef in it?
I mean, I gotta be careful with the liquid.
like I feel like
Q, I'm gonna be
sometimes that's a lot.
I gotta like dump them between each other just to even out everything.
Okay.
I'll do it. I don't make chili for just myself. Like I do it when we're doing like a Packer party or something, or like Super Bowl.
It is in 2 different pots because like I was like, you would have to have like a beer making kit to make that much chili.
I do have a giant like stock pot that's like it's probably like 3 feet high. And pretty wide around. I could make a batch of chili with 3 pounds of meat in there if I wanted. I never would, because who has a use for that much fucking chili? I don't know enough people to feed that much chili to.
It does turn into a chili distillery basically when I'm making.
Did you have any Bucks thoughts, Q, or did you just want to get in on sandwich talk with Ramie and Drew?
So my first, I don't know if you guys, like, you're both comedians, so I don't know. Did you guys rip into the state of Indiana at all? Because I feel like Subway is like their 5-star restaurant.
No, I'm saving my Indiana takes until we sweep them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, I would say
my girlfriend is from Indiana, so I can't go in too hard.
Indiana is probably like the lowest on my rankings. So I do not like the state of Indiana, and I take great pleasure in beating the Pacers today. So
it was a lot of fun. Do you Q, do you ever watch like spooky ghosty shows or anything like Ghost Adventures with Zach Baggins?
No, but is he from Indiana?
No, but he bought a house in Indiana that was apparently the gateway to hell, and he spent the whole night there or something. It was like this super haunted, weird, just kind of townhouse with like a creepy basement. And like he said that like that's why he went half blind and has to wear like prism glasses now. And basically they since bulldozed the house, like they've salted the earth because of it. It's a documentary on Amazon. It's called like Demon House. It's like 2 hours long, and you just listen to a guy get aggro in a house by himself. It's pretty funny.
It
was in Gary, Indiana.
My takeaway from what you just said is that the gateway of hell is in Indiana, which I knew, but you just verified. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
there was like a goat head like in the basement, and it just had like a Reggie Miller jersey on it. It was an absolute disaster.
yeah, um, it's kind of sad, but the most racist people I've ever met have all been from the state of Indiana. I also have some friends that are great, that aren't racist, that are like upstanding people. They also all left and don't live in Indiana anymore. But I just, I don't know. I think there's a special place in hell for the state of Indiana. So, and I'm not surprised the gateway's there. So anyway.
Anything else? Anything else, Q, on the Bucks, on sandwiches, on the hellhole that is Indiana? Anything, or did you get it all off your chest?
I'm so excited to see Drew smiling because the Bucks won a playoff game. You were in the pits of despair many times during the season, and like I'm just thankful that you can like get to watch this team in the playoffs, which is what they were built for, which is like what Doc has been coaching for. And I think you guys are going to be doing live pods after Bucks games until June this year. I think we're going to sweep the Pacers. I've been saying that since before tonight. Rick Carlisle has not won a playoff series in 13 years, and I don't expect him to win this one. So,
Q, real quick, the Steph Curry savory turkey breast, provolone cheese, turmeric tamarind barbecue sauce. That sounds interesting. Cajun mayo, crisp lettuce, and red ripe tomato tucked inside a fresh baked Dutch crunch roll. That sounds pretty damn good. I'd eat that.
It was really good. I was a big fan. And then like I got into a habit, like I had a weekly meeting right by a Subway, and I was there like 6 or 7 weeks in a row. And then all of a sudden, like the Steph Curry came off the menu, and I was like, "Hey, I'll have the Steph Curry." And they looked at me like I was a fucking idiot, even though it was like the same 3 people just like standing in like different places for like a month and a half, 2 months. And then they looked at me like I was being a poor lady. Okay.
Like you fucking made it last week, Chad. The fuck do you mean you don't remember what the Steph Curry is? Make me a fucking Steph Curry. I don't care what you call it. Just take those ingredients and put it in the Dutch crunch roll.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was. It was tasty. And this it wasn't Chad, it was 3 angry women. So
all right, well, I'm not gonna make up a name for them. That's gonna look
all right,
bad.
Well, go Bucks. Expecting a sweep, and keep up good work on the pod. Thanks, guys.
All right, Q, appreciate you, man. Thank you. And finally, we'll just close on this. We know, Matt. We know. All right. Just sometimes you eat it anyways. Okay, it's just what you do.
Yeah. So I'll respond to that right there. It's not that Subway is good and that we're advocating for Subway. It's that Subway I go to is literally just 20 feet past the front desk at the gym I go to. So it's easy to pick up Subway on the way home.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I crave trash, okay? Like every once in a while, for no reason, I'll want a quarter pounder with cheese or a Big Mac, okay? I want fries from that place, or I want their Coke is very good. You know what I mean? I get I grew up a very fat child. I was just telling my girlfriend the other day, Drew, you're younger than me. They probably didn't do this in your youth. But when I was a kid, there was one day every year where quarter pounders were a quarter. You hear what I said? Quarter pounders were a quarter for one day a year. I would stack them in front of me like poker chips and cash them all into my stomach by the end of the fucking day, dude. Okay. So
I remember when I worked third shift at Pick and Save, and like whenever we had to do like goddamn inventory, our store manager, like the main store manager, he would just bring everybody that was doing inventory at like 3 a.m. He would bring us all just double cheeseburgers from McDonald's. It didn't matter how long those sat out. They just never went bad, which is great.
No, those don't go bad. Those will survive the Holocaust.
Those things are
like a nuclear holocaust, dude. Nuclear holocaust. My bad.
I want to rephrase that one.
I'm going to edit that in the replay.
That was, those were disgusting. I do remember though, like when I was in high school, that like McDonald's did the whole, I think it was like whatever like the temperature was in like February or something. Like you got like a Big Mac or something for like if it was like 15 degrees out, like
crazy.
sense. But you had to buy like one at normal price, and you got like a second Big Mac.
All right. I think we're done here now.
But now that I'm on a health kick, I just hate McDonald's and the saltiness.
I saw you tonight. You're on no health kick. Okay, I was with you.
Wings and a cake.
That was not a health kick, my friend.
I drank water in every Michelob Ultra that I had.
Oh yeah, that's right. The pitcher of Michelob Ultra was definitely hydrating.
my solo pitcher of Michelob Ultra that I just drank out of a bucket. I'm on a health kick.
Matt, I'm sorry. Matt has one more comment. He says he's going to be in Detroit. If you guys are live, I'll jump on. We will not be able to go live during the draft because I'll be on 670 The Score in Chicago draft night from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. So if you're interested in my thoughts on the NFL draft, you can catch me there. That's 670 The Score or your Odyssey app Thursday night from 9 until 11.
Does this guy really want you to talk about Caleb Williams?
I will be. I'll be talking a lot about Caleb Williams, Drew, and you will like it. You'll listen to it, and you'll like it.
I'll get a fidget spinner.
All right. That's Drew Flaggy. I'm Ramie Makloff. This was Ramie and Drew, episode 46. Bucks up 1-0 in their first round playoff series with the Pacers. We will talk to you again soon.